Here. Please be advised that the notice requirements of the Open Public Meeting Act have been complied with and satisfied, and that the annual notice, which gave sufficient notice of the time and place and time, municipal council of the city of New Brunswick has been filed with the city clerk, has been placed on an appropriate bulletin board and posted in the back vestibule of City Hall, visible to the public through the windows in the lobby of City Hall, New Brunswick, New Jersey, and has been transmitted to the official newspaper for the city of New Brunswick, namely the Home News Tribune. Additionally, a 48-hour notice of time, place, and manner of conducting this meeting has been made by the city clerk on June 28, 2021, as is required by law.
The City Council intends to meet on a regular schedule and will meet the guidelines of the Open Public Meetings Act by utilizing the telephonic conferencing system through which the public may participate. The public is encouraged to call into the conference call-in system through the phone numbers and access codes transmitted in 48-hour notice. During the portions of the meeting that are not open for public, all callers from the public will be muted. During the public comment period, those who have interest in addressing the council will first be organized by last name, then called upon to speak one time and for no longer than 5 minutes during the public comment portion of the meeting. A timer will chime at the completion of the 5-minute period, and the speaker will be notified that their time has expired. Public meeting assistance accessing the call-in number to call City Hall at 732-745-5007.
Thank you. Please stand if you're able for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please join me in a moment of silence to reflect and honor our military personnel and law enforcement officers who dedicate their lives to protect our freedom, safety, and democracy. May God guide them safely in their duties. Thank you.
Motion to accept the minutes? Second.
Councilmember Anderson.
Yes.
Councilmember Deacon.
Yes.
Councilmember Fleming.
Yes.
Council Vice President Escobar.
Yes.
Council President Porter Ludwig.
Yes. Madam Clerk, has the correspondence been directed to the appropriate departments?
Yes, Madam President, the correspondence received by the City Clerk's office has been forwarded to the appropriate departments for further action.
Thank you. We now have the City of New Brunswick 2021 budget, a resolution to read the 2021 New Brunswick municipal budget, and the public hearing.
Council President, this is the time fixed for the public hearing on the 2021 municipal budget. The budget introduction and scheduled public hearing date was approved by the governing body on May 19th, 2021, was advertised as required by law on June 23rd, 2021, together with notice of the hearing for this time. Printed copies have been made available to the public during the past week and is available on our city website.
Thank you. Anyone who has not secured a copy of the budget may visit our city website to view electronically. At this time, I will ask the clerk to read Resolution R-072100A by title only.
R-071200A reads as follows. Whereas NJSA 40A:4-8 as amended provides that the budget as advertised shall be read in full at the public hearing, or that it may be read by its title only if, 1, at least 1 week prior to the hearing of the date of the hearing, and that the hearing, a complete copy of the approved budget, A, shall be made available for public inspection, and B, shall be made available to each person upon request. And now, therefore, be it resolved by the governing body of the City of New Brunswick that it is hereby declared that the conditions of NJSA 40A:4-8 as amended as forth in subsections 1A and 1B have been met, and therefore the budget for the year 2021 shall be read by title only.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. We are preparing to open the public hearing on R-072100A to read the City of New Brunswick budget by title only. The public hearing for the actual budget is done after this approval. If anyone would like to speak, you may do so for up to 5 minutes per person, one time up. Madam Clerk, will you please prepare a list?
Unmuted.
Yes, Madam President. If any members of the public wish to speak on this resolution, please state your name when the appropriate letter of the alphabet is called. A through Z, E through H, I through L,
Charlie Cradaville.
okay, Mr. Cradaville. M through P,
Danielle Moore.
okay, Ms. Moore. Q through T, U V, W through Z. Is there anyone else, A through Z, who wishes to address the council on the resolution only to read the 2021 New Brunswick municipal budget by title only? This will be the last call, A through Z, if you wish to speak on this resolution. Okay, I close the list, Madam President. The first person on the list is Mr. Charlie Cradaville.
Muted.
Thank you. Mr. Cradaville, can you please state your name, spell your last name, and give us your address for the record?
Yeah, Charlie Cradaville, New Brunswick today. I wanted to ask about why this hearing is taking place in this manner. I see on the website a 48-hour notice that cites the public health emergency declared by Governor Murphy, and I want to make everyone aware that that public health emergency has expired and concluded. So I want to understand why this meeting is being held on the telephone and not at City Hall for the public to attend in person.
Well, this portion of the meeting right now is to read the public, the budget by title only. So do you have any comment on the title being read by title only?
So I see what you're saying is that there's going to be another public hearing momentarily for the merits of the budget.
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
This is for the title only
Understood.
portion.
Yeah, I do
Okay.
have some comments on the budget, but I do think it's a valid issue that I raise here is the manner that the hearing is being held in. You know, I see incorrect information on the city website citing the public health emergency. Can you just tell us when you're going to plan to resume in-person meetings? Is that going to happen?
Well, this portion of the meeting is reserved for this resolution in particular. You can raise those concerns again later, and I'd be happy to address them, Mr. Cradaville.
Okay. Thank you, Council President.
Okay? You're welcome.
Okay, Council President, the next person on the list is Ms. Danielle Moore.
Thank you. Ms. Moore, please state your name and spell your last name for the record.
Danielle Moore, Moore, Somerset Street. With this budget, would you tell me, are you able to tell me some things that this is going to be covering?
No, that portion of the meeting is not until the following resolution is read. This is just to adopt it by title only. So if you have a question on the title only, then you're more than welcome to ask us that now.
So you're going to adopt something due to where, and vote on it due to where the public doesn't know what you're voting on yet?
Absolutely not. This is to adopt it by title. This is to adopt it by title only, and then we have the budget hearing is the next step of this process. You will have an opportunity to address your concerns.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome.
Okay, Madam President, there are no more members of the public on the list.
Move the resolution.
Second.
Councilmember Anderson,
Yes.
Councilmember Egan,
Yes.
Councilmember Fleming, Councilmember Fleming,
Yes. Sorry, I had it on mute.
Council Vice President Escobar, Council President Socorro Ludwig.
Yes. Now, before I open the hearing, I'd like to ask our city administrator, Mr. Michael Drulis, to provide the council and the public with an overview of the proposed introduced budget.
Thank you. Council President, members of the council, with me to give you a brief overview of the introduced budget is also Richard Mulrine, our CFO. And I believe that Mr. Facone is on the call, our auditor. Mr. Facone, are you there? Can we hear us?
Yes, I am, and I can hear you very well.
Great, thank you. So I'll begin. The proposed budget for 2021 has a total expenditure of $97,782,947 and a total raised levy of $39,083,700. The mayor's administration has worked to craft this budget so it's responsive to the losses faced by the community as a result of the pandemic, the subsequent economic downturn. To that end, this fully funded budget holds the line with no increase to the municipal tax rate. It provides for a continuation of all essential city programs and the safe reopening for pandemic-impacted services. In response to the pandemic in 2020, the city acted quickly to reduce expenses to meet the unprecedented loss of revenue, thereby protecting the city's finances. 2001 has seen an increase in activity in the city, and it is proving to be a recovery year ahead of most other communities. This budget intends to meet the rebounding operational demands on the city while maintaining fiscal prudence during a very fragile time. The following items are included in the budget and would help to accomplish this. Pedestrian safety and traffic calming projects on Livingston Avenue, Handy Street, Easton Avenue, French and Spring Street, just to name a few, are well on their way. The city is leveraging state and federal grant dollars, allowing us to exceed the already aggressive street milling and paving programs throughout the city. At the same time, we are upgrading buried water and sewer utilities, taking advantage of the street openings. There is funding provided for the newly renovated War Monument Park and to start construction on the Feaster Pittman Parks and a new park at the former site of the Wilson parking garage. In the area of public safety in 2021, we will replace retirements with the hiring of 5 police recruits and 11 firefighters. The final design work and land preparation to build a new state-of-the-art fire headquarters will also commence. The budget will replace 2 garage trucks, the fire department's rescue boat, and other support vehicles and equipment to provide a safe and clean city for our residents. I want to point out a special grant that's been provided by our neighbor and valued corporate citizen, Parker Health Group, to fully fund and expand the city's dial-a-ride services with new vehicles and support, and provide our seniors with free access to tablets with internet at no cost to the taxpayer. Utility budgets continue to see real investment in the treatment and distribution of our drinking water and reduce cost of wastewater management, providing a cleaner environment for all. An examination of the revenues and appropriations for this proposed budget shows a few important impacts. On the revenue side, there has been significant declines as a result of COVID in our municipal court revenues and our hotel and motel occupancy tax. We've seen increases, the other significant items we've seen have been increases in our pilot payments, reimbursement from COVID-19 expenses incurred in 2020, expansion of shared services and interlocal agreements, and an uptick in our UCC fees. At this point, I'd like to ask our CFO, Mr. Richard Mulrine, to provide us a little more insight in the revenues and the budget. Rich?
Thank you. Yes, the city continues to maintain stable revenues. Most of our revenues were not impacted wholeheartedly by the pandemic, which was good for the city. It allowed us to continue to maintain our surplus levels and to regenerate surplus. We continue to monitor these revenues to make sure that we don't present any at-risk situations for the city and continue to replenish our surplus should we need it. We've had some new revenues come on board, which further helps our surplus regeneration and continues to maintain the fiscal integrity of our budget. I'd like to also add that at tonight's meeting, a little bit different, we are having our public hearing, but due to the state being behind with their budget review process, we will not be adopting tonight. We'll just be holding the public hearing, having questions and answers, and we'll be adopting at a later date.
On that note, Mr. Mulrine, if there are no material changes to the budget as per the state's review, would there be any additional action required besides a vote?
No, it would just be a resolution of the governing body to adopt the budget and to complete the process.
Okay, thank you. So we'll move on to appropriations. Some of the largest increases we saw came from other expenses, and primarily that is in providing recycling and trash pickup for the city. These have been across the country, a phenomenal spike in cost due to international expenses and forces, as well as some local issues regarding trash, local meaning to this country. We expect that will continue for years to come. The city still continues to look for the most competitive pricing for trash and recycling through participating in co-ops, evaluating our contracts every time they become available. There's been continued investment in Civic Square, which is a building adjacent to City Hall, to make sure that building, make sure that HVAC units are functioning properly. We're making investments in the HVAC units in the upcoming year, which is very timely given the pandemic and the demands for fresh air inside buildings. The contribution to our PERS and PFRS pensions are also increased this year as well. Some of the largest reductions we saw were citywide within salary and wages. The city has shown fiscal prudence and smart investment coupled with a second to none revitalization and development program that has generated $66,566,800 increase in total assessed valuation of the taxable property in the city. The zero increase in local taxes will net an approximate $104 decrease to the average property owner or property assessed at $261,800. That's the high points of the budget. Thank you for the opportunity for allowing me to express them to you and to the public in this meeting. And I'm happy to answer any questions should you have any. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Droulis, and thank you, Mr. Mulrine. At this time, I want to outline the procedure. Each person wishing to speak will have up to 5 minutes, one time only. All questions will be addressed to me, and where necessary, I will refer them to the governing body or municipal officials. Questions must be confined solely to the municipal budget for us. School or county matters are not proper subjects of this hearing and cannot be discussed or answered here tonight. I now declare open the public hearing on the 2021 municipal budget. Madam Clerk, will you please prepare a list?
Unmuted.
Yes, Madam President. If any members of the public wish to speak on the budget, please state your name when the appropriate letter of the alphabet is called. A through Z, E through H, I through L.
Charlie Cradaville.
Okay. M through P.
Danielle Moore.
Ms. Moore. Q through T. And U through Z. Is there anyone A through Z who wishes to address the council on the 2021 municipal budget? This will be the last call, A through Z, if you wish to speak on the budget. Okay, the list is now closed. Madam President, the first person on the list is Mr. Charlie Cradaville.
Thank you.
Muted.
Prattville, the floor is yours.
Yes, Madam President. Charles Cradaville, New Brunswick today. First question is about the parking authority. I know for the first time in probably their history, they failed to make their payment in lieu of taxes to the city, and an agreement was made for them to make that payment over the course of 4 years, I believe, instead of paying it timely. What is the arrangement for this year's pilot? Is the parking authority going to pay in full?
I don't have an answer for that personally. Mr. Drulis, do you have an answer to that question?
I do. The parking authority intends to make their full pilot payment for 2021 in the 2021 budget. That they will also make a partial payment for the amount that they were not able to make in 2020. They'll make those payments in five payments starting this year.
Gotcha.
Thank you.
So last year's spread out over 5 years. This year's all at once. Do you know when that comes in?
The parking authority, I'll have to look to Mr. Mulrine, but the parking authority has a payment schedule with the city. I don't have it with me, Mr. Cradaville. But it has to be in this year. Mr. Mulrine, is there anything to add?
No, normally they make the payments quarterly, but it doesn't. I don't have those numbers in front of me, but it's usually a quarterly payment.
Okay. Can you tell me, is the so-called user-friendly budget available yet? Or if not, when will it be available?
Mr. Mulrine, what's the process on that, please?
So the user-friendly budget is normally submitted to the state with the adopted version of the budget, so that will be presented with the final adopted version.
Okay. I do want to raise a concern. I know last year's user-friendly budget, the page that I go to is number 7 to look at the long-term tax exemptions, and it was not complete last year. I do see on page 7 last year, there's, some long-term tax exemptions that do not appear here. In particular, it seems like ones that are condominiums or, multi-unit for sale housing are absent from the list. And also the critically important column that says taxes if billed in full, 2019 total tax rate. That column enables people to compare what the pilot amount is versus what the developer would be paying if they had to pay full taxes. And there's a reason that that's supposed to be in the budget. But of course, last year, that entire column was just left blank. So I want to get some kind of assurance that there's going to be a more complete reporting on the long-term tax exemptions in this year's user-friendly budget. Are there plans to do that?
Mr. Mulrine, is that a required part of the budget reporting?
I'd have to look at the form. I know these long-term tax exemptions are filed accordingly as they have been year over year. And so I'll do some research and get you an answer on that, but I'm more than sure they will be.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. I do want to understand what's going on with the body-worn camera mandate. It's my understanding the police department is in violation of a state law requiring all officers on patrol to be wearing body-worn cameras. Is there any funding in this budget for the purchase and implementation of those?
I can address that if you like, Madam President.
Please, Mr. Joel.
Yes, the budget does permit for the funding of the body-worn cameras. It permits for the training of the officers as well as a capital investment. It will be included as we move through the capital process.
Okay, what's the amount and what's the number of body-worn cameras?
Oh, I would have to defer to the police department for those exact numbers. I don't have them handy, and it's.
Madam President, is there a member of the police department that could help with that question?
Deputy Director Miller, do you have those numbers available for Mr. Cradaville?
What numbers is he looking for?
the amount of, body worn cameras, was that right, Mr. Cradaville?
Yeah, the number of cameras and the
Number.
amount of the cost. I do not know the exact cost offhand. That is something I'd have to get back to Mr. Cradaville on. We'll be purchasing enough cameras for every warrant officer in the department.
Thank you, Deputy Director. Thank you, Mr. Cradaville. Your time has expired.
Council President, the next person on the list is Ms. Danielle Moore.
Thank you. Ms. Moore, the floor is yours.
Hi, yes, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, first, I would like to start off with basically speaking a comment to Mr. Valentley. Since the new budget is in, I think it's time to start working on 10th Street and Saddam Street. It's been 2 years now. The county said they're still waiting on the city. It was mentioned that it was supposed to be done last fall, possible, but I do understand COVID-19, it took a lot of stuff away that couldn't be done. But for the safety over there, I hope to see that done soon with the new budget in. The next thing I would like to start talking about is where you mentioned recycle. Please, let's not
Ms.
go.
Moore?
Excuse me?
I lost you for a second. Go ahead.
Yeah, okay, whatever. Please, you had mentioned that you would go with the best budget with recycling. No, that's not the thing. I prayed and I warned you, please go back to waste management due to where New Brunswick is looking horrible. I'm pretty sure Rucker's Village or St. Peter's Hospital looking clean. I just showed the pictures to Ms. Aaron McGuire, who's in charge of recycling. Wow, what a horrible job. That's the main reason why New Brunswick is littered so much, due to where you have the worst company doing our recycling. And please, like I said, take the time. I showed her the pictures, how, wow, what a horrible job with all the bottles and everything. So please, it's not about money. It's about doing the right thing. Get the companies that used to keep New Brunswick clean. And it's surely not this one. And I would like to also speak on, I saw about 3 weeks ago with garbage trucks being towed away. I think it's time to start getting new garbage trucks as well, and especially due to where they won't squeeze the liquid out when they press the button, because wow, and if any of you walk other than Mr. Anderson, you would see how it stinks up and down the streets from the liquid coming out. And I meant especially French Street, wow, horrible. And then one thing I also want to speak on is Mr. Cahill. Come on, do the right thing. This is the budget, like you said. Come on, it's time to give the garbage department, the Department of Public Works, and the Parks Department. Come on, remember what you said, Juneteenth. If you really believe in Juneteenth, or you were just trying to look good, where you said, oh, once the budget come in, we're gonna talk about giving the raise. Come on, I think it's time for a raise. Due to where New Brunswick is so overcrowded, the pickup can't even be done in one day anymore. While you used to be able to pick up in one day, how recycling and the garbage workers have to continue the next day. And believe me, I know they're busting their behinds out here due to where, New Brunswick is populated. So yeah, I feel that it is time for you to do what we said when I asked you, why? Why did you give the police department a raise? Oh, when are you going to give the workers a raise? Oh, we're looking for the budget. This is your time now. Do the right thing. Don't be on the naughty list, Mayor Cahill. And far as I will say, speaking with the cameras, yes. Oh, I pray, and I'm going to ask for your sake, Mr. Charlie Cradaville. Please go towards the state, because I will speak in the public comment. Due to where, wow, it's very sad to see that New Brunswick does have dirty cops out there that are not following their rule books. And like I said, I will speak on that with the public comment. But yes, for my safety and other people's safety, yes, I think it's time for New Brunswick to start wearing these cameras to show what they're doing, because they're not surely following their law book. And it's very sad that I even had to witness that.